in.
Hi Kim, thanks for meeting with me today.
Hi Michael.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So as you know, I kind of sent out some materials for you to review. I did bring them in case you didn't have a chance to review them yet.
Okay.
I just kind of want to talk about a potential solution that I want to kind of talk about and have you consider, both for our department as well as the entire organization.
Okay.
So I printed out double copies of everything. This is my proposal as well as the CEO's key success factors that we recently discussed at our last onboard meeting.
Okay.
And then this will be for your reference in the future. That is the entire project outline as well as some key financials. So did you have a chance to kind of look at anything yet?
I just reviewed it slightly, so you can go over again with me, that'd be fine.
So I did want to just take a couple moments to thank you because I know it has been a very busy time with the Deerwood acquisition as well as the acquisition on Rice Lake and then the recent velocity upgrade for our department. I just wanted to tell you thank you for your participation in that and keeping our entire team involved as well as aware of where we currently stand. The first kind of presentation piece that I wanted to talk about are those key success factors. So that's the second document that I gave you.
Okay.
And as you may recall from Rudy's address to us as an organization, he's really looking at 6 key success factors for our continued growth as we expand into the Minnesota market for 2021. Focused primarily on the integrated experience of our customers, where we currently stand as well as where we want to be in 2021, as well as some technological increases for automated workflow, predictive analytics, and a strategic integrated marketing scheme. So I just want to print that out so that we both have reference to that.
Thank you.
What I wanted to talk about today is the idea of a customer relationship management software. It's something that we currently do not utilize. In my past experience at UW Credit Union, I found very beneficial as a teller in the branch to actually have a CRM because it allowed us to see all sorts of communication that our members were having with us, whether it's electronic, via email, regular mail flyers, if there are conversations that we are capturing at the call center, corporate center, or at a financial branch. The biggest thing for CRM and how I think that it would help us as an organization for loan productivity is currently when a member calls and asks if they are able to apply for a loan or anything like that, and they say we received some material in the mail. We as a department don't know what that material was, what it was referencing, whether it's a credit card, an auto loan, what current assets they have with us outside of looking at what they have with RCU. And so I just think that it would be very beneficial as an organization as we look at these key success factors of how do we create a streamlined experience that's automated workflow, as well as how do we enhance the relationship that we have with our members to set us apart from other financials. I truly believe that CRM would work in our favor. So I would just like to spend a few moments kind of presenting a little bit about what CRM is, as well as kind of discuss what your ideas are, any potential thoughts that you may have, and whether or not this is something that you think would be beneficial in moving forward.
Okay.
So if you kind of go through the paper that I just kind of gave you, the first part is a little bit of an overview of CRM, and I did go ahead and put together some presentations and financial models for you. But before I do that, I just wanted to kind of outline a story. So the story would be a member currently walks into a branch and he asks the teller, how your day's going, and the teller asks the exact same. And that member then says, I've had a great time, I just actually took on a new career, and because of that I'll be traveling a lot and I purchased a new vehicle. Well, with CRM, that teller is going to be able to document that conversation. It's going to be able to enter in that they have a new car, a new job, etc. And then from our marketing department is going to be able to send out flyers or mailers talking about our low interest rates that we have on auto loans, as well as then we can do outbound calls as part of our new loan department to reach out to that member and say, hey, we noticed that you got a new vehicle, congratulations on the new job. Did you finance that vehicle? If so, did you know that we have market-leading interest rates that are the lowest in our direct area? And we'd like to discuss that. And that would be a potential lead. And so that is just one story of many, whether it's a grandchild graduating college, and we could look at student loan refinancing, or somebody just had a baby, and so we could be looking at home loan refinancing or home line equities of credit, so that they could expand maybe a nursery or anything like that, which we currently are missing that opportunity for because we're blanket canvassing everybody. So kind of with that story, I just kind of want to lead into an overview of CRM. So if you go ahead and you turn to page 6, you'll see that I do have an outline laid out with some web links discussing Microsoft Dynamics, the CRM database itself. There's many different solutions, whether it's from Salesforce, Microsoft, or many other third parties. We could look at purchasing the program itself as an application and software, which would require somewhat of an extensive capital outreach because we'd have to buy the software as well as service it and then support it with our IT department. We could also license it out as software as a service where we'd be paying an annual yearly fee, which I believe might be the best potential for Royal Credit Union because we can leverage it and increase the needs of it as we bring on new members, as well as then the support and service of it will be actually provided as part of that SaaS process. So if you want to go ahead and just go ahead and click on the link that I had emailed you, that will provide a little short brief demo.
Okay.
So as you can see from that demo, that was using Microsoft Dynamics 365 in a financial setting, banking related, both for our loan department as well as our financial services. And it creates a holistic overview of each member, and it allows us to have those integrated conversations with our members and actually add a lot of value added conversation pieces. And I really think that, as we look at competing with not just local banks and regional banks, but we are still competing with the likes of Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, those institutions do have that. And so moving forward, in how do we remain competitive, as well as how do we create a mobility, agile company as an organization, because a lot of our members live here in Eau Claire, a lot of our members will be moving and going across the country, all over the place, and so we need to be able to have a way to retain those conversations without just relying on our individual employees at the branches to have that one-on-one relationship. The relationship should be extended, whether it's via phone call, email, mail flyer, or in person. And I think that this demo highlights a very big part of that. And while we may not choose to go with Microsoft Dynamics 365, all the other CRM programs that are available on the marketplace currently offer very similar services just like this. If you turn to the Excel document that I also emailed you, that will kind of discuss a little bit of the financials. If we were to license out CRM as a software solution where it's licensed yearly, price ranges anywhere from $35 upwards to like $100. So I just kind of quoted the Microsoft Dynamics cost of that, and that'd be about $85 per person per month. And so with an organization of about 500 individual employees, we'd be looking at capital expenditures of about $500,000 a year. Something that's very large, but I think that it's also something that could be, accurately forecasted and budgeted for in our yearly operating expenses, as I know that Rudy, our CEO's huge goal is to drive down our net expense ratio compared to our deposit ratio. Well, at the same time, by having this software allows us to capture more cross-marketing, so that means driving more loan growth, whether it's auto loans, credit cards, home loans, or any of the other products that we offer. So I do think that at the end of the day, as kind of quoted by Salesforce, I believe in the appendix, you can see that sales productivity increased for companies on average of 44%, as well as a 37% increase in sales and lead conversion once the organization came on board with Salesforce and implemented their CMR database. So kind of what I would like to do is just really align that our core mission and vision for the 2021 year is to really achieve the highest levels of member loyalty by providing exceptional and recognizable experience and value through highly efficient operations while building capabilities that hedge uncertain futures. So as we move forward in a world filled with fintech technologies, whether it's Quicken Loans with Rocket, where they can apply for a mortgage and get approved as soon as a minute or two. How do we remain competitive with those fintechs as well as traditional financial organizations? And I truly believe that CRM will help us realize that vision. So I just kind of like to get some of your thoughts, opinions, and whether or not this is a proposal that you see has value to us as an organization and something that I can kind of continue to research and collect information on, as well as the overall expenditures and capital outlays, so that we can maybe present it to our executive board and board of directors at maybe an SLL meeting.
Okay, well, I like that you're thinking and being forward thinking as well. I do have some concerns that pop into my head right away. One, right away I thought about training of the employees. They're gonna have to learn how to use this software, and what is that gonna look like? How much training will be involved, and time away from work and things like that.
For sure, and I definitely think that that's a valid concern. I've thought about that as well. With CRM, one of the nice things is it's not necessarily replacing any of our systems like Velocity or DNA. It's really helping to augment those systems, and so we don't have to do any sort of training as far as how do we integrate them into these other systems and replace them. More so, hey, this is an additional tool and resource. And so, as you know, we do have our yearly summit meetings where we kind of close all of our branches and we get together as an organization to talk about where we are and where we're headed, as well as we have 3 different segments for personal development. So I believe that if we cut that down to 2 segments of personal development, as well as 1 segment that everybody's required to attend for CRM, it will allow everybody to kind of, as a collective group, kind of get an overview of CRM, what it is, why it's important, and how to use it. And then part of our yearly performance review is that continuing education. So just like whenever we roll out a new version of DNA or Velocity, we have that on the floor, 20, 30 minutes time spent where we do self-paced learning. The nice thing about CRM is we can actually have the organization that we ultimately select come in and they'll provide that training. So we could take groups of 10 to 30 each day, so that we not negatively impact our company and our daily activities, and train them with those individual trainers, as well as those trainers would then work with our dedicated training staff downstairs to then come up with additional e-learnings. And really, for most individuals, CRM, like at the branch level, they're really just going to be utilizing it sort of like Excel or like Outlook. So instead of sending an email to the entire team or an email to the branch manager, they're going to be recording those conversations in CRM instead of Microsoft Outlook. So from a training standpoint, there will be some training. However, I don't think that we'll have to have large capital outlays for that training based on how we currently structure our training. It truly could be utilized during our, once again, summit meetings, our quarterly company meetings, as well as part of our ongoing yearly performance when we do e-learning.
Okay, that sounds good. Along that same lines, though, I am also concerned about our IT department and the pressure it could put on them if we implemented this as well.
For sure, and that is a variable in this proposal, and it really would ultimately come down to what the board of directors as well as our executive team decides to do. So if we license it as a software as a solutions, that IT support, well, our team is going to need to be familiar with how the program operates. They're going to be able to leverage the solution provider's IT support as well. Whereas if we decide to buy it off the shelf or make it our own and critique it and develop it in-house, then those costs and that IT support is going to fall on us. So it's ultimately going to fall on how we choose to pursue this proposal, whether it's licensed, or if we buy it wholesale, or if we actually outsource and bring in a kind of consulting firm to help us.
Okay. So then my concern then would be after that is the financials, because if we are outsourcing at that point, then how much is that going to affect, and is it still worth it if we're outsourcing at that point? So
true, I definitely agree. I think that's a valid point, and at this time, once again, it's going to really fall on how we choose to implement CRM and what type of solution process that is. But ultimately, using Microsoft Dynamics as an example, that $85 per member per month per year comes once again to that about $500,000 range, and that is integrative and inclusive of all IT support, system access, and system maintenance. And so an organization roughly approaching $2.8 billion with our deposit leads, and as we reduce fees for our members, which accounted to $6.5 million over the last 3 years, I do believe that we would be able to easily absorb those costs in our current structure for IT outlays, as we then focus on increased productivity within our department and gaining more membership through our focus on member NPS and satisfaction.
Well, I like the idea. I'm intrigued. I have my concerns, but I would like you to continue to look deeper into it and get more solid lines of how much things would cost if we outsource versus not, and would that be worth it? So I would like you to go ahead and keep looking into it because it's a good idea.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me, Kim, and that makes me really ecstatic that this is something that we could potentially see value in. As I mentioned, I've done a lot of research already based on what other organizations use our CRM, as well as having personal experience and previous work experiences with UW Credit Union, who is one of our peers that we benchmark against. And I personally have seen firsthand the value that it brings, as well as, once again, creating that whole integrative approach to how we approach customer interactions, whether it's, once again, at the branch, over the phone, or electronically in such a mobile world. So if you'd like, I can definitely continue to research it. I'll pull together some more financials, and perhaps we can set up another time to meet, maybe in 3 weeks or so, and see how we want to pursue setting up meetings with our executive board.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Well, thank you so much once again, Kim, for taking the time today. I know that's very busy, so I respect your time, and I look forward to talking to you again shortly.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Have a good day.